Hey folks, welcome to the Wealth Transfer with TC. Today I want to talk about the dinar and talk about the circumstances around Iran and also the elections in Israel. So one of the things I want to get into, most of you have probably already heard about Iran, and this article here from the Jerusalem Post, Kadimi advisor says Tehran capable of building nuclear bomb. Tehran will also directly respond against Israel should its security be targeted, the report says, citing the advisor. This is something that's causing rift right now within the Middle East, Israel, and I'm pretty sure Israel already knew. And as I've been saying with the dinar, and then unfortunately, before the dinar will revalue, there will be some type of conflict between Iran and Israel before we see the revaluation as far as $1 or $3 or anything like that, right? Kim Clement said nothing. Then suddenly, he also said when things seem at their worst, he also said a grave surrender, right? And I went over all that. You can check out the prophecy link down below in the description, right? It's going to take you to my document. It's going to put all the prophecies there to where you can read them for yourself. And so, how is Israel going to respond to this? Right now, if they feel threatened, more than likely what's going to happen is they're going to do a preemptive strike. If you remember this video, does this prophecy confirm Dinar RV timing of Kim Clement, right? And to where they actually do a preemptive strike, and it ended up being like a chemical weapons facility, and the whole world was mad at Israel for striking this facility. Right, so there's actually another prophecy that kind of deals with this, right? I know other people have discussed it too as well, and that as far as Israel defending itself. And so that's why right now I'm just kind of keeping a watch a little bit of what's going on over there in Israel, because what happens with Iran and Israel is connected to the dinar. Now, there are rumors as far as the rate change for this week, that they actually might raise the exchange rate, but that all remains to be seen. So even if it does go up some a little bit, well, guess what? It's just going to be a little bit more expensive for you to purchase your dinar. And I told you that if you wanted to get your dinar, you might want to get it now, especially if it's your only investment. If you're not invested in cryptocurrency, you're not invested in anything dealing with the stocks, because I guarantee once people start getting wealth transfers from the stock market or from the cryptos, a lot of those people are going to be buying dinars, and there's not going to be none available. And then you're going to be going to Amazon. You don't know if you're getting a real deal or not. So one of the things that I want to deal with next, and this deals with the Prime Minister of Israel. And we know that there's elections that are coming up, that the government was dissolved, and they're going to, redo the elections again. Right, and there were some prophecies that took place in 2021 from various prophets that said that Netanyahu would remain in power, but those prophecies failed because he didn't. The prophecies didn't come to pass. And so it began to make me think about the upcoming elections, and it makes me wonder, because now they have a interim prime minister over there in Israel right now. So will he be the one to make the decision to preemptively strike Iran? I think that if Netanyahu was in power, that he probably would have done it already. So who knows? But there's a lot of speculation that Netanyahu is trying to get back into power. Now, I may not say the name right, but Lukids Nir Barkat eyes leadership in Israel and seeks allies in the U.S. Right? So there's this whole article about him taking leadership of the same party, in which Netanyahu currently is the head of that party. Could be a power struggle between these two individuals. Looking at a prophecy that Kim Clement had on July 19th, 2014. Right? And so I scrolled all the way down to the bottom here. And he says here that I just gave you a little key. A secret about a future prime minister. A prime minister that is going to raise up the youth. His name is Mayor Nir Barkat. Now, he was the mayor of Jerusalem for a very long time. He served as the mayor between 2008 and 2018. And if you just look up YouTube, you can see the different videos about Kim Clement's prophecy to be the future prime minister of Israel. All right, and also too, from what I understand, Kim Clement had actually met the man, right, and prophesied to him. So that got me thinking. First of all, a lot of prophets who are prophesying Netanyahu to become the prime minister, might be in for a shock, and that's going to change the way, most definitely, I look at some of these other prophets. So we don't really know. So that all remains to be seen. Especially when it deals with the nation of Israel. The true prophet's words will come out on top. We can prophesy, we can guess prophesy all day long, right? And that's what happened in 2021. So it might be very possible that we will not see Netanyahu in power, but he will be the prophet that God has designated him to be. All that remains to be seen. So the Israel elections is on November the 1st, 2022. After that, then we'll find out who the next prime minister is. So could we see a preemptive strike before November 1st, 2022? Yair Lapid, I'm not sure if I'm saying his name right, but he is the interim prime minister because the other guy, Bennett, is stepped down. And so he is currently in place. Now, I don't know what all his personal beliefs are as far as, what he thinks or what the centrist party and what they stand for. And I don't know how much power he actually has to make major changes. Say, for instance, like to negotiate a peace deal between Israel and the Palestinians as far as creating a two-state solution. Would he actually give the order for a preemptive strike against Iran? So if not, then you still have months to go before we get a new prime minister, right? So there's a lot of things that are up in the air right now. So all of this remains to be seen. If he has evidence enough to say, hey, this is a serious threat, then probably more than likely he would. So that is all that I have for this today, folks. I just want you guys to be aware of some of the things that are going on and dealing with the dinar and what to expect. And just to kind of reiterate that I do not believe, in my personal opinion, looking at the prophetic word, that we will not see the dinar revaluation until these events happen. And unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of suffering. So we just pray to mitigate a lot of those things that are going to happen between Israel and Iran, Syria, the grave surrender, and all that. And remember the video that I shared with you guys dealing with the other prophetic word about what actually might take place. And it's going to be very serious. And people will actually think that this is it. It's the end of the world. And you're going to have a lot of these, you're going to have the super religious right come out, and they're going to be like, it's the end, it's Armageddon, it's about to begin. That there's going to be a lot of these different things that come out, and it's going to put a lot of fear into a lot of people. So when you do see these events, just know that it's going to work out in the way God has designed it, and which will favor the world itself, and it'll favor God's people, and it'll favor the innocent. I thank you guys for listening. God bless. TC out.